Hey everybody, my name is Andrew. It's Monday and that means it's time for a new video. Last week I answered an advice question from my Tumblr asking about feeling lost while transitioning, kind of any advice I had to go along with that. This week I was planning on doing a polyamory talk, but I want to compile a couple more resources before I post that. So look forward to that in the next week or two. Yeah. This week, I'm also going to be taking an advice question off my Tumblr. I'm going to leave my Tumblr linked below if you have any questions you want to ask me that might be featured in my upcoming videos. You can also comment on my Instagram, send me a personal message, whatever you need to do to get a question out to me. Yeah, so I'm going to go through that question, a little bit of advice there, and then I am going to dig into an old Q&A that I posted that I never actually posted, and answer a couple of those questions. So the first question is, hey, so I see an endo for the first time tomorrow and I'm terrified. I feel like I should be so excited but I'm just dying of anxiety. Is there any advice you have about this? I think this is a great question because I feel as though the answer is applicable to a lot of different life feelings and also kind of pairs well with last week. For personal experience, when I was beginning my transition, there were absolutely moments of complete and total terror where I could not believe I was actually following through with it seemed like such a wild, it seems like such a wild idea, it's a wild thing to pursue, like, why do I really want this thing? Is this thing actually this important to me? Because it doesn't seem like it really matters to a lot of other people, right? Primarily being surrounded by cis people. So I definitely did have moments of extreme anxiety where I wasn't altogether super excited about my transition because there's so much fear and uncertainty involved. So I want to first say that you're totally not alone with that. That is not something that, you're not the only person to ever have anxiety about their transition or about big life decisions or pursuing this sort of gender exploration, right? I think one of the most important things to do when you're experiencing something like this is to really give yourself a lot of space and room for your feelings. As much as we think all the time, I should feel this way, I shouldn't feel this way about situations, that never really changes that our feelings are and they exist and they will continue to exist no matter what we think they should be like or what they shouldn't be like. A lot of times feelings are entirely controllable, and that doesn't mean that every single feeling is a fact or that every single feeling trumps every other feeling or that you should act off of all these feelings. It just means that you really need to understand that these feelings aren't wrong and they're not unnatural and they're not weird. It's entirely normal to run through all these different emotions. I think we definitely live in a culture that kind of glorifies positive thinking, and I think positive thinking is also very important and wonderful, but I also think understanding your negative thoughts, understanding where your negative energy comes from and kind of going to the source to work through it is really, really good too, not just trying to smother everything in positivity. I think that's definitely a really important thing for character growth and for life growth. So I think it's really, really valuable at this time while you're having these anxieties and these worries to say, hey, it's okay to feel this way, and this is a part of my journey, and this is a normal thing to be concerned about. And to take the time to understand why you're afraid of what you're afraid of. I don't mean kind of sit and worry and brood and anything like that. I just mean if I'm going throughout the day and I'm extremely stressed about something, but I keep trying to say, I shouldn't feel this way, why do I feel this way, this isn't how it should be, I should feel totally excited, I should have this feeling. If I just kind of talk at myself all day like that, I don't give myself room to feel validated or feel comforted or to feel like I don't give those feelings that validation or that comfort that I recognize you, I see where you're stemming from, I've worked through this, I'm working through this, right? So if I take the time to say, okay, why do I feel so bad? I feel bad because I'm worried that I won't feel better, or I'm worried that there aren't a lot, this might not go well. And then once I actually can grasp those really the roots of what my feelings are, it's easier to say even if this doctor doesn't work out, there are many doctors, and that there are so many people who have successful results with HRT and who feel better and feel more comfortable in their body. So chances are I will have that same experience, or I don't even have to completely follow through with this if this isn't in my comfort zone. So once you figure out what those root feelings are, it becomes much easier to work through them and to feel better, and to also kind of not feel like you're less than for having these feelings, because what you're feeling stems usually from something that's kind of important. and it's good to recognize that for sure. Okay, so the second question is, what's your favorite form of self-care? I have different forms of self-care that kind of like cycle. So sometimes I will read like 20 dystopian novels in a row, and any of my spare time that I have ever, I just spend all that time reading and kind of like getting immersed in a story. Right now I'm really into Pokemon Sun, so that's what I do. I take a bath, I eat some sort of sweet candy thing that I love, and then I play a lot of Pokemon just to kind of de-stress and feel better. Yeah, I think I kind of go between like different things that I really love to do. I also love to go to the gym. Going to the gym is always kind of self-care for me. It's kind of hard, but once I get there and I have that time to kind of be more present in my body, that's always a really cool experience for me. So the third question is, you and Zeke have made it so much easier for me as someone non-binary to accept that how I present doesn't lessen how I identify. Do you two ever struggle with how people view you, or ever second guess your choice in clothing when going to certain places? I can't speak for Ezekiel, though I will be doing a couple of videos with them in the upcoming future, in the next couple of months, so you can kind of get their perspective and some of their experiences and hear those. But I can say that definitely for myself, I do feel constantly like very hyper aware of how I'm dressed and how I'm presenting. And some of that has to do with dysphoria, and some of that also has to do because of where I grew up. I grew up in an area that was extremely homophobic and misogynistic and transphobic. So like any form of gender nonconformance was kind of really frowned upon or treated as like over-sexualized, or was like people acted violently based on it. I saw a lot of kids get beat up for being gay, and I had a lot of experiences while out in public of men kind of coming up to me and like grabbing me and asking me like what I was, even though at the time I didn't really ID as transgender or really anything. So I am constantly everywhere, and that's definitely as somebody with a lot of privilege. I can generally, where I'm at now in New York, I can generally travel anywhere without worrying about anything based on my appearance. So I think that that's totally normal to do. I think queer people, trans people, definitely do have weirder experiences in public and being more visibly themselves. So I definitely do kind of feel that a lot. The final question is, would you dye your hair a wild color? If so, which color? I totally would if I could get it like professionally done. I would go for like a lilac or a very soft pastel pink, or maybe something really bright. Definitely like a pink or a purple. Those are kind of like my two favorite colors right now. Yeah, so that's all I have for this week. Next week or the week following, I will be doing a start of polyamory, and I'll probably do some videos on polyamory in succession. So if you have any questions, definitely shoot me a message on Tumblr, message me on Instagram, comment on any of my posts on Instagram that have any of my video information in them, or even comment on this video right below and let me know anything that you might want to know about. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for kind of sticking with me while I'm learning how to do this. Thanks for seeing my new beautiful setting and the setting for the next couple of videos that I do. Have an awesome night, and I will see you next week for my next Monday video.